Alright, this is the beginnings or the early parts of my journey of restoring, or not really restoring, just bringing this 1983 Honda Nighthawk CB650SC back to riding condition. Anyway, I wouldn't say back to life, but it's in rougher shape than it looks. So to start, this is what the battery cables look like. Look like some dog got a hold of it, used it as a chew toy, so I made new battery terminal cables. It's just temporarily in there right now. I gotta put insulators on the positive side so it doesn't short out if it touches the frame. The I took the seat off. The seat looked fine, actually. Looks like that. It's pretty good shape given its condition. I'll put in pictures later, but the guy who owned it before had some kind of decorations on here and on the front fender. He drilled holes in there. The front console's gone, so I've got aftermarket speedometer and odometer and all that stuff on, and a new headlight, so I've got to figure out all the wiring to get that going. It was missing the oil filter cover, so when I went to go start it, I checked the oil level, went to go start it, and oil leaked all out, and come to find out it was missing the front oil filter cover, so I ordered one from eBay. Let's see what else. Oh, well, there's chunks missing off the cylinder head, and the valve cover looks like it's just got sealant on it. It's kind of sketchy. The petcock was JB welded on because the retaining nut was broken. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, it was missing. This is a new voltage regulator. It was missing the voltage regulator, so I bought one, I think off Amazon, and I had to kind of jury rig the wiring. I have to order some connectors to get this back into the housing to get it together. The voltage regulator wires, I have to kind of jury rig them for now, but yeah, I'll get another cover. I've seen a lot of people do it, and I might hardwire these in later, but for now I just want to get it running. The clutch, hydraulic clutch slave cylinder is leaking, so I had to buy a repack kit. Let's see what else. The air filter, surprisingly, looks brand new. Oh, all the turn signal lights are all busted, kind of hanging by a wire. I'll slide in a picture if I remember. The kill switch was one of the wires was busted off, and it just makes a connection. So when you go to turn the key on, I'll show you I'll drop in another picture of the kill switch. But the way this Honda kill switch is, if you toggle left or right, it disconnects these two wires, and then when you have the kill switch lever in the center, it makes continuity between these two wires. So what I'm going to do, I'm debating on whether I want to just solder an extension on the wire to make it work like it used to, or just keep the connection solid, because it's kind of goofy the way it is. I don't know. I'll think about that later. And this is the choke cable, and it's supposed to be attached to this, but it's obviously disconnected. He had like a skull connector on here, skull head, but it just came right off. So that's the current condition so far, and so let me start it up so you can see that I did get it started, and I had to put BG44 in the tank, hopefully just to clean it up a little bit, just to get it running, and then as I get more done, I might even just take the carbs apart. If it doesn't get any better, I'll just take the carbs apart and just clean them that way. I'm not going to do a full restoration of the carbs. It's, from what I've seen, it's a pain to get the carbs out. So like I said, I just want to get this running. So let me get it started. So when I first got it, obviously it had no voltage regulator and no battery, so it was unclear whether it would even run. And so when I hooked up the battery to it just to make sure it cranked, it did crank, so that allowed me to go to the next step. So now I can start her up. But the problem is it doesn't run unless you have the choke on. Hold on. I forgot I have to use my official choke cable holder. And it's rather surprisingly quiet. So now if I try to throttle it up, it'll die. But yeah, what I'm doing is I'm running it through there with BG40 and do what they call a hot soak. So hopefully the BG40 gets into the fuel system and starts freeing stuff up. If not, like I said, I'll take the carbs apart and just give it a good cleaning with carb cleaner. I'm not going to rejet it or anything. So that is the beginning of the journey of getting this thing back on the road. So stay tuned for more later. The journey continues. I was trying to get the air box out because I wanted to put air pods, filter pods on the carbs instead of having the air box. Plus it gives me a little more room, and I don't know, just makes it a little cleaner. But one thing I discovered, there are connection tubes between the carbs. There's four, it's a 4-cylinder, there's 4 carbs, so these connection tubes, they have JB Weld on them. I'm surprised this thing even runs. So I'm probably just gonna see if I can order a whole new set. I don't know how much that's going to cost me, but yeah, I'm not going to try to salvage these carbs. Like I said, I'm surprised the thing runs. But anyway, the air box refuses to come out. I can't even get the ignition box out because the nut is stripped out or whatever. So I'm going to get my favorite tool out, Sawzall, and probably gonna cut it, I don't know, I'll probably cut it like across here, and then that way I can get, and then cut it down and split it in half. I'd hate to, but I'm probably never ever gonna use this air box again, so hold on for that. I don't know why motorcycle companies do that. Shove that thing in with no clearance, so you can't fix it, can't replace it unless you go through a lot of trouble. Yeah. So I gotta take this out. This ignition box. I think they call that the CDI or something like that. I don't know. It's a necessary component. Yeah, I mean, what a pain. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can do something with these carburetors. If the JB Weld is just too thick on there to do any kind of meaningful repair. But yeah, look at all that room. You don't need all that room to have an air intake. It's crazy. All right, onward. Okay, so to try to get this thing off the air box, I had to actually just cut out a section of it, get a hacksaw, cut around the stud. I'm gonna yank the plastic grommet or housing from around it, and then I'll try to hold it with vice grips and see if I can get that nut out. Good job, Honda. Good job. Alright, I got that plastic housing off. Clamped down on the bushing nut, whatever that is called, vice grips. And hopefully I can get it out with my 10mm wrench. Let me set the camera down. It's like fused in there. There we go. Got it. Yeah, Honda. Good job. So if I ever had to replace this thing and this happened, you ain't getting it out. No siree. Okay, I didn't record this, but I had to repack the slave cylinder for the hydraulic clutch. I did that last night, and so now there's good resistance on the clutch, so the hydraulic clutch works. I just have to replace the bleed nipple. It's leaking a little bit, but not a big deal. The carburetors are out. I have to clean the carbs. What a pain that was. But I'm gonna also maybe scrub down some of this while I've got room. And next I gotta fix this. I've got some insulation. I'm gonna put some shrink wrap around these, and I also have to order a blade connector for here to connect it into this four plug connector. I think I got the connector in here somewhere. But now let's take a look at the carbs. So the last person who had the bike, or somebody along the way, there are connector tubes between the four carbs, and they must have been leaking or something. So instead of replacing the O-rings on the connector tubes, they just JB welded them. I'm debating, I just want to get this thing running. So I'm debating whether I want to take this all apart and repack the O-rings, or, I mean, they're just connector tubes. I'm sure some of you pro mechanics are like, yeah, you gotta take it apart, you gotta ultrasonic clean it and ream it out and all that mess. But again, I just want to get this thing running. And then there's some tubes in here. I don't know where they go to. I'm gonna have to consult my repair manual and YouTube. But I'm just gonna take apart one by one the diaphragm caps, make sure the diaphragms are okay, and then take the bowl off, check the floats, make sure everything's okay. I know 2 or 3, I mean, you saw it run, but 2 or 3 of the cylinders are not getting any fuel. So I definitely have to clean. I'm going to clean out every single one of the emulsion jets and idle jets. So I'll tear one apart, and when I find one that is particularly bad, I'll record that. So I pulled the diaphragm cover off, and everything looked fine. I forgot to take a video of that, but I'll show you when I take this one off, see if it looks any better. So I'm going to take the bowl cover off here, and we'll find out together what it looks like. Still can't get over the JB Weld. Well, I can, but it's just hilarious. Although I have to say, in my younger days, if I didn't have money, and of course this is a 1983, so who knows when it was done. Days before Amazon, I probably would have done it myself if this was my motorcycle. Oh boy. Do the old tap tap. Here we go. Oh man, look at there. That thing is destroyed. Yeah, look at that bowl. It is nasty. See if I can pry it out with a pick. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one. I gotta get a what do you call it? A cable, a choke cable anyway. So yeah, definitely not getting this thing back in anytime soon. Plus, I didn't know. I seen the gaskets like this on Amazon, so I wasn't. And I saw ones with a different shape, and they said they were for the same model motorcycle, but I wasn't sure if it was this shape or some other shape. So it's good that I verified that it is this shape for the bowl. Man, oh man, look at that. That is unbelievable nasty. And I tell you, you're going to be working on little parts, get you lots of these from Harbor Freight, these magnetic bowls. Yeah, this thing don't look too bad. It looks pretty good actually. So again, just one at a time. You don't want to man, look at all that varnish in there. Let me go dump this. Alright, clean it out, and I can hear it now. Don't use a wire metal brush on that aluminum. Well, like I said, it's going to be gasketed or O-ringed, and I'm not looking to get 100% efficiency out of this. I just want it to run. And whatever I do to it is going to be better than what condition it's in now anyway. And I'm only doing one carburetor at a time. I'm going to spray that out with some carb cleaner before I take the jets out. Okay, I cleaned up the bowl. Very nice, very nice. Got all the crusty, there's still a little crusty left in here. But yeah, I'll go through and make sure I get all the old crusty gasket out of there. And I ultrasonically cleaned the jets. You're a jet, you're a jet. Make sure I ream out the orifices. Yeah, I think this wasn't too bad as far as the jets go. They looked alright, but given the way the gasket looked on this one, I'm not too confident on what the rest of them look like, but I'm sure whatever I do is going to get it running again, so we'll see what the other ones look like. And like I said, if I find any of them that are particularly worse than the first one, I will definitely take a video of that. Well, this bowl is equally as nasty. I don't know if it's the gaskets that just disintegrated, or they try to put some kind of gasket sealer or putty or something, but yeah, this thing's completely disintegrated. And the inside, I didn't do anything to this, but it looks okay. I mean, it's relatively clean. There's not a whole lot of varnish inside, so either this thing clogged up and never got any fuel, or I don't know, just never got contaminated like the other ones. But yeah, I'll clean this one up too. Okay, here's the second diaphragm cover coming off. I haven't taken it off yet. We're gonna see it together. Yeah, not too bad. Just gonna polish that up. Spring looks alright. Yeah, the diaphragm looks alright. Yeah, so far so good. A little crusty around there. I'll clean that up with a brush. But yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Apparently they didn't monkey with this too much. Luckily I don't have to do too much with the diaphragm. Okay, I cleaned everything up. All the diaphragms look alright. The jets look pretty good, considering they're, you know, well, I think one of them was clogged. So I got a piece of wire, a little itty bitty piece of wire, and I cleaned out one of the jets in each of the carbs. Yeah, everything looks good. Cleaned it up. I mean, it's not beautifully perfect, but it was not as daunting as I thought it would be. Cleaned up the diaphragm covers, and the diaphragms look good, like I said. But I'm gonna slap it back in. I do have to buy the repack kit for the gaskets on the bowls, because I just haven't put it back in place right now. They're just held in with 2 screws each out of 4, and we'll see. We'll see if it runs. And I got to check the compression on each of the cylinders. This might be off or not. If I lost compression, that means I have to pull the head off, check the valves, make sure they're not bent or clogged. Given that there's JB Weld and gasket material, gasket sealant, I'm wondering if some gasket sealant got up into the intake and clogged up one of the valves, but we'll see. Onward and upward. More progress. I have replaced the choke cable. Here's the old one, and it's in pretty bad shape. Well, this end anyway, but there's the end of it there. Yeah. So, and I went ahead and put shrink tubing on the voltage regulator wires that go into the voltage regulator right there, which I'll have to make a mount right here. And one of the wires that needs to get fixed is the ground wire, the green wire, and here is how they had it spliced in there. I had it spliced into a purple wire. So I'm gonna have to order me some green wire or find some scrap green wire I got at home and splice that in, put some shrink tubing on it, and get these one of these spade connectors. I have to order some spade connectors so they can go into the fitting that goes in here that connects up to the voltage regulator. But right now what I'm doing is I am checking the compression, and look at that. That is cylinder number 4, 150 psi. So show you its features. All right, here goes. I was surprised, actually. Find the start button here. Here we go. All right, watch it go. Yeah, that's about 170 psi. It's not bad for that one cylinder. So let me switch over to number 3, and then 2, and then 1. See how she looks. Not surprising, I will need to replace the coil wires. But while we're at it, let's check to see, make sure the coils are sparking. Yep, we got spark. I don't know if that shows up on video or not. But I can see spark, so at least it's giving some kind of spark. Okay, here's cylinder number 3. Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, we got number 2 cylinder. $165 again. Here you go. Number 2, good. And I did check the spark on number 3. It's sparking. So I checked the spark on number 2, and then I go to number 1. Okay, number 1 cylinder. Let's check the compression. Wow, that's 170. That is muy bueno pressure. And number 3 spark plug or coil wire did give off spark. And so let me check the spark on number 1. There you go. We got spark on all 4 cylinders. We got 165 to 170 psi on all cylinders. So I just need to get my carb packing on the bowl packing finished up and put together, and then from there it's all pretty much wiring and bracketing. I got to put the headlight on, I got to put the speedometer on, the tachometer hooked up, I got to put brackets for all the wiring back here for the voltage regulator, and I got to put lights on. I got to put the turn signal lights on. Lots to do yet, but at least I don't have to be rebuilding an engine. Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb and separate at least one, the number 1 carb, and see what is underneath this JB Weld here. It's kind of scary. But let's take a look, see here. Okay, got the right bit. Oh, and I think I said about these magnetic plates here. I got like 10 of them today. I love those things. There we go. And what I'm gonna do, hopefully so I don't forget, is I'm gonna make a little index mark on each of these to make sure that they don't go out of alignment. Well, surprise, surprise, I just wiggled this a little bit, and look at there. Let's see here. Right, look right there. Comes right out, and I can see the O-ring. So I've got a repack kit coming in, so I can repack those O-rings, and hopefully I'm going to try to chip away all this JB weld. So let me do that, and I'll come back. I wasn't kidding about these magnetic bowls. They are so handy. So reason why I got this out, so I can put these screws and the other screws and keep them separate, so I don't forget which ones go where. There you go, just like that. Here's the T pipe that goes between the center two carbs, and it's just full of JB weld. What a mess. Can't wait till my repack kit comes in. It's gonna look a whole lot different. Alright, I got my carburetor repack kits, and I was debating whether I wanted to replace the jets or not, but since I got them, I might as well. So I'm going to replace all the jets, and it came with the O-rings to replace on the connectors, so I will do that too, and hopefully this will get it to working condition. So I will do one at a time. I'm just going to do one, and again, I only put these barely finger tight because I knew I was going to have to replace the O-ring gasket thing around here. So let's do that first, and then we'll do the rest later. One bag at a time. Alright, so these, the old ones were kind of crushed to hell, so I imagine they were no bueno. There, look at that. Might put a little petroleum jelly on it just to get it to stick down, but yeah, they're supposed to stick up just a little bit. Well, I guess it stayed down, so I don't need the gel after all. These are incredibly handy. I used to be an aircraft mechanic, and these are called scribes. We call them scribes, but they're just picks, and they have come in handy for little jobs like that, and to pull out O-rings and whatnot. This little float jet, just like that. Like a soap. I don't see any O-rings down in there, but whatever. Give it a little shot. Give it a little shot of cleaner. There's the old one. The new one seems a little bit longer. I don't think that matters. There's the new one. There's the old one. I think they made it longer just to make it easier to extract. Yeah, it just makes it easier to take out. So the way I was taught to check, make sure threads are equivalent, is what you do is you take the one thread you're trying to match up and the unknown, and you just lay them on top of each other, and if they mesh up, they are the same threads. So these do seem to mesh up. Let me make sure that stems are the same length at least. Yeah, it does look like the stems are the same length. Probably some pros out there yelling at your screen, but whatever. I am not a professional, and I'm just trying to get this thing running. You know what? I'm just going to use a pair of pliers. That's weird. It didn't come with this. I guess you don't need this. So I will put this back in. Or you don't need to replace that unless you maybe already have one. This jet here, I'm not sure what this jet is for. Looks a little worn out. Yeah, this one looks kind of worn out. So I'm going to go with the new one. Alright. I'm going to put my float back in. Pin back in. Put this back on. Like so. Now I'm not going to wrench these down, I don't want to crush that gasket too much, but that's pretty much it. I'll give it a little snug. Okay, I got it all back together. The only problem, well, let's show you this first. I got the all the JB weld off the linkages there. Replaced all the O-rings. Here are the old ones. And the only problem, and I kind of manually leveled all the carbs using some kerosene, but the problem I have now is that the choke plungers, some of the caps are broken, so the return springs aren't pushing on the caps to return the choke plungers. So sometimes the choke lever sticks up. So I'm gonna have to either rig up a spring to pull it back down somehow. I tried finding the plunger caps or the plunger assemblies, but apparently they don't sell them, and I did find some OEM ones, but they're like 50 bucks a piece. I'm not spending $50 on a choke. I might just leave it down and maybe just raise the choke a little bit, because they will return if the choke goes up just a little bit, but if you put it full choke, it sometimes will tend to stick. I don't know. Yeah, see? So I'll have to keep my eyes out, and it's not hard. It's not hard to replace these chokes. I just got to pull the carbs out. Pain in the butt, but not hard. But anyway, that's it for now. Okay, well, I had a revelation. These are choke plunger assemblies, and they go in the choke plunger tube there, and there's a cap that's a nut, but this one is clearly no bueno. And I did probably about an hour's worth on and off search to find either just these things or the whole assembly. And what this assembly does is that it just keeps the it pushes the plunger down when you release the choke cable. But the problem is, since this is no longer connected, this just kind of rides up and down. So I had a revelation, and I just need something that will keep the spring down but will let the plunger move and also seal it into this lug. So this is a wire nut, so I just got my National Fine. I think this is 7/16. This is probably some kind of metric thread, but I don't need it to be exact, I just needed to catch on these threads. So I cut it to where it will start to thread in there, and it works like a charm. Just like that. Just like that. See? Now when I release the clutch, the choke cable, it will push the plunger back down and close the choke. So let me assemble this and I'll show you. I have to make two of them actually, so I'm gonna make both of them and show you the result when I get done. There you have it, the Redneck engineered choke plunger cap. See, here's how they're supposed to work. And here's that first one I made, and here's the second one I made from a wire nut. So let me put it back together and show you how it all works. Alright, here we go. Choke up, choke down. Choke up, choke down. Mo better. Oh man, this is beautiful. Alright, I get this bad boy back on the motorcycle and see if she'll start up. Alright, got the car back in, got the wiring kind of jury-rigged together, and this is the moment of the truth. Here we go. Purring like a kitten. Let's see, make sure here. Yeah, it's warm. That's warm. It's a little cool. That's kind of warm. That's hot. Yep, that's getting warmer. That's really hot. Yeah, she just needs to get purged out a little bit. Get the oil in her system. But definitely mucho difference from when I first tried to start it. Yeah, just burning out some dust. Alright, next job is I got to clean up the wiring, and I got to wiring the headlights, the gauge, and the speedometer. Alrighty, I got it started as you saw previously, and now I'm in the process of cleaning this up so I can get the battery inside. Now after taking the battery air box out, I had to unmount the voltage regulator mounts to the old battery box. So now that that's gone, what I did was I got a piece of plexiglass. I think this is like a 1/4 inch plexiglass, and it took me a while to cut out the shape. I used what did I do with it? Anyway, I had a piece of cardboard I used as a template, and so now I've got the voltage regulator mounted up, and I'm gonna zip tie it on temporarily. I'm going to use what they call, I can't remember what they're called, but like wire clamps later after I get it situated, and if the zip ties hold, I'll keep the zip ties. But yep, I'm going to zip tie up all the wires, and then I'll have to make a platform for the battery. So that's the next step. There you go. Got the panel all fixed up. Got the wires connected. And got my Redneck engineered battery holder. Built this plate and I want to put air pods on the carburetors. I do have to tune the carburetors. I have to do the what you call the air fuel mixture to get it to run a little smoother, but it's in running condition now. It will run. So let me put the seat on it and give it a little street time. It's a little premature. I had to install a brake lever and bleed the brakes, so everything's good. And now I've got to put the connectors on the brake light, but I don't need the brake light to give it some street time, so let's give it a little street time now. Okay, let's start her up. So last night I got the headlight hooked up, I got the turn signals hooked up, so let's take a look. There you go. Got the running lights on and the low beams, and that's a high beams. Left turn signal or right turn signal. And something with Hondas, they like the beeping. There's the there you go. That's it. Now what I'm doing is I'm getting ready to put this universal tachometer, speedometer, but since the old console's gone, I have to make a bracket. So I'm not done yet. I got to put a 90-degree angle right here so I can mount it like that. Actually, it's gonna go like this and then bend backwards. So I made a template out of paper. So I'm gonna bend this, and won't make you watch all that, and it goes like this. It's gonna hold it like that, like so. So I'll be back in a bit. Alright, took me a couple hours, but I think it's ready for the road. I just need to clean up this wiring a little bit, but let me show you the speedometer. Look at there. Look at that. Got the neutral. And get the glare. Neutral. First gear. Second, third, fourth. For some reason, fifth doesn't show up, but I know when there's no gear there that it's in fifth. And look at that, the gas gauge works. Oh, so let me start her up. Get back down to neutral. All right. Tachometer works. It's a little slow responding, but it works. So, see what else. Oh, I changed it from kilometers an hour to miles per hour, and I wired up the speed sensor here. I had to drill a hole to put the magnet in there, so I'm gonna have to test out the speed sensor. So let me clean up the the wire, the rat's nest, put the headlight on, and put the seat back on. I gotta drill out the bolts for the seat there. Apparently they broke the bolts in there, so I gotta get some carbide bits to easy out the bolts and then get a thread chaser. So, but that is not going to affect the roadworthiness. I do need to take this rail off and adjust the air fuel mixture, but let me put it back together and make her roadworthy. Alright, she is ready for the road. Tomorrow what I'll do is I will get insurance on it. I'll get insurance on it tonight, and I'm gonna go to DMV and get a title for it and a plate, and she will be ready for the road. I still have to tune the carb though, but yeah, I don't know. This could be better. I'm not quite sure what I can do to clean that up, but not a concern right now because I'm just going to ride it in the fair weather. This is the positive wire, or the power for the gauge, so I'm just going to kind of tuck it away there, but she's drivable. And yeah, next footage is me hitting the road with it. Okay, this is it. Got the carb tuning gauges that weren't the best, but they got me close. And the bike doesn't hesitate anymore. I'm not going to show you me balancing the carbs. There's dozens of videos on how to do that. So that's what I did to tune the carbs. They didn't align perfectly, but given the condition of the bike, it's good enough. All right, it doesn't hesitate, it idles okay, and so it is ready for the street. Yeah. All right, there she is, and I'm gonna roll in maybe what it costs, all the parts I got, and also roll in some night shots. But first, here's what it looked like when I started. And here we go. The final look before we ride. Yeah. So, got the AirPods. Had a new petcock. I put plexiglass there to hold up all the wiring. Still have to change the gear oil, but that's not a big deal. It's running fine. I might do that later. Put in a new tail light, flashers. Tire's okay. It needs a little warming up. Had to replace, first thing I replaced was the battery cables, and I wired up the starter relay. Carbs. There you go. And of course, for my buddy Tardisius, gotta have a little cowbell. And of course, the speedometer. But yeah, it turned out great. I'll be riding this when it stops raining. So here you go. Enjoy the ride. Thanks for watching and come along with me on this rebuild journey. Later.